Okay, so I promise you content, and that's exactly what I'm going to bring you. There's that old thing about there's more than one way to skin a cat. As the comedian said, who's out there skinning cats? What happened? The cat got your tongue? You scared a cat. What is it about the cat and your obsession with cats? I'm a dog man myself. You know this. You know this. But I got something sad. I got to figure out what to do because my mother-in-law can't keep. So basically we've got JoJo. She's my lab mountain cur mix. And I definitely planned on taking her with me wherever I go. And the puppies were up for grabs, so to speak, because they didn't belong to me personally. They belonged to us. It was my mother-in-law's dogs. It's kind of like they were the house dogs. They belonged to all of us. Shanna's parents, Shanna, and myself. My brother-in-law brought them to us when they were puppies, and he gave us one of them, and then the second one gave us one of us, and the second one we kind of inherited from him. He was away and he travels a whole lot, so when he would come back, she would kind of go with him, but then she stopped going with him, and so we inherited her. That's Patches and Sassy. They're wonderful puppies, but if I move into apartments, which is looking like that might be a possibility now to get into a place faster, it's just taking too long to find a place. I'm overwhelmed. I need a place a little more quickly. So it may be moving into apartments instead of a townhome or a house. So initially I wanted a house. I wasn't really keen on the idea of a townhome, but the agents that I work with had kind of sold me on that. One of them is Liz Stokes. Shout out to Liz. If you around McClenny Elementary, you know her from her subbing there, but her primary job is a real estate agent, and so she's helping me. She lived over in Mandarin at one point, so that's really helpful. She knows the market over here, and but anyway, so I'm gonna post a picture of what I've done. A thing. If I did, you'll see it in just a minute. You'll see it. The color's just right. If you know, you know. Go Dogs! It's not quite bulldog red, but it's red. It's pretty red. My granddad would love it. He loved red vehicles. Even though he wasn't really a Georgia fan, he just loved red vehicles. He wanted a candy apple red Mustang. Here he was in his 70s. He was a sport, man. He was going to get him until my dad intervened and convinced him to get an Oldsmobile Aurora. That's a big difference, isn't it? A candy apple red Mustang from Langdale Ford versus so he got my dad got him a deal on it, so he got the Oldsmobile Aurora instead. What a drop off there. You're 70 something years old, you don't have any kids at home, you're a widower, you want you a cool car, and you end up with an Oldsmobile Aurora. I guess that kind of happened to me today too. I was taking pictures of this. It's a Toyota RAV4. So here I am. As I'm saying that, holy cow, a Toyota Supra just drove through. It's Toyota's version of a sports car. And it's red too. It just pulled right through, literally as I was saying that, right in front of me. Now, I don't want a sports car. I'd be killing myself in that thing. In fact, Dad, whenever he was in high school, he was the class valedictorian for his school, which is awesome, terrific. But apparently he was kind of a bit of a wild child his senior year. You know how everybody's kind of like a wild version of themselves as a senior quite often. Not always. I was actually calmed down by the time I was a senior. But anyway, they said, Papa said, I'm kind of glad he's getting married because he's burning up the roads in his car and flying, and people tell me he's flying up and down the roads. I'm afraid he's going to get himself killed. So Granny and Papa were worried about Dad. He's flying up and down. I don't know if Lori and Mitzi even know these stories. My sisters and Diane and Donna. But hopefully they see this so they can hear this too. But Dad was apparently flying up and down the roads. This came from, I think, Papa, and I think Mama also told me the same story. But I know Papa was one of them. He's like, I was afraid he's gonna get himself killed in that car. He had a little fast car, and he was pegging that thing out. He said different neighbors and friends and all that said they'd seen him so and so, and he was flying and spinning out and all this kind of stuff. I was like, Dad did all that? My dad? You know, can't hardly imagine you, especially my dad. He's like a chilled out. If you ever met my dad, he's just a chilled out guy and everything. Just really super laid back. But apparently he had a little wild streak in him and stuff, and he liked the girls up in Adel. He lived down in Lowndes County, north of Valdosta and Hayhira, and he didn't go to Valdosta. They said he went to go see those Adel girls up there. Something about them he liked. So anyway, he went up there to they said he was thankful he met Peggy, his first wife. He started seeing her, and so he was hanging around Hayhira more. And so my grandparents liked that, and like they were afraid he, you know, they thought, well, I guess it wasn't such a bad thing. He was going to miss college because he got married instead of going to college. But there he was with Peggy, and I guess she reeled him in a little bit and brought him out of some of that wildness. So let me tell you a funny story. I'm going to leave you with a funny story. I was pulling out a Chick-fil-A earlier. I got me a grilled, I'm staying on my diet. I had a grilled filet on egg white, grilled chicken filet, and I skipped the hash browns. Had me a little lemonade with it. So I stopped there, the edge of the parking lot. I mean, it's only there with just a moment or two extra. I was trying to tell Haynes, I said, I don't know if this is full electric or if it's hybrid. What is it? Because I didn't really get the details. I just assumed it was full, because he said that the tank was fuel. I had to the tank was full. I had to sign off to show that the tank was full and agree that I would bring it back on full when I got back with the rental. So it's a service rental because the Nissan's being repaired right now. There's several things going on with it. They're going to be fixing it today. It's not likely, he said, that one of those things he's probably going to have to order a part for. So most likely I'll have it through the weekend, because they said if it's done by the end of the day, they'll call you, and you really need to bring it in unless you want to pay the larger fee. So it's like $25 a day for service. And then I don't know if they check mileage or not. I forgot to ask them about that. But anyway, if they're finished with the vehicle today, then it'll jump to $75 a day starting tomorrow if I don't get the car back. But I'm anticipating based on what the service guy told me, that it's going to still be out. They're not going to finish with it today. There's too many things that they're working on it. The door that doesn't open from the outside on the driver's side, the oil change I need, and also I was going through San Marco through a detour. They detoured me away from floodwaters, or supposedly, and I went into more floodwaters, and I bottomed out not bottomed out, but I hit bottom because the undercarriage underneath was hanging on by a thread, and then last night it actually fell all the way to the ground. So when I was driving it into, shout out to Coggin Toyota at the Avenues in Jacksonville, it had the second highest customer rating. The highest was in Arlington, and that's across the St. John's and all that. You had to go across the bridge and all this rigmarole to get over there. And I've never really been over into Arlington much, so I didn't go over. The Avenues would be a lot quicker this morning to get the vehicle and get going, get back to school and finish up my school year. No students are there, but I got to finish up my tasks so I can get ready for the summer. But the funny part, now back to the funny part. All right, so I'm pulling out of there, and I swear, y'all, I'm only there for a moment, probably another, just long enough for me to look to see, oh, wait a minute, Haynes. It's a hybrid because I can see where there's a charge. It says off, charge, eco, and power. So it looks like it is electric, but it's hybrid. Hybrid, because the tank is still full, and it says no charge right now, off, or the charging's off. When I start running again, it starts charging itself. That's really cool, huh? But back to my story. All right, so I just paused momentarily. Somebody honks the horn behind me while I'm looking at the odometer and all the gauges here to tell Haynes whether it's electric, just simply gas powered, or is it a hybrid. And so I just told him it's a hybrid. It's like honk, honk, honk right behind me. And I'm like, and then the guy, I'm looking back and I see like he's giving me a dirty look and all. And so we pull out, I pull out, then he pulls out around me and comes flying around me. I was so tempted, y'all. Please forgive me, Lord. But as he went by, I was going to shoot him a bird, but he wasn't even looking at me. I haven't shot at a bird to anybody probably since I was in my 20s or something like that, or maybe even my teens. In Albany, Georgia, they said it was illegal and you can get fined. If you shot somebody a bird over there would be a fine involved if you were driving and shoot somebody a bird. It was one of their city laws, according to what I recall from my teenage years. But anyway, he honked the horn at me, and like I said, he buzzed around me, and I saw him as an older gentleman. He looked like he might be Vietnamese or South Korean or something like that. And I said, "Hey," I said, "that's not the Southern way. You don't honk at people. That's rude. That's rude." And then I thought to myself, man, if that guy would stop, I'd box his ears. Jerk. Being a jerk. He looked so mad too, just because that was like a momentary pause. He was in that much of a hurry. And look, he's definitely older than me. And so I got my hair color now. Says I told Haynes, I said, yeah. I said, what they do is the headlines would read that the two old men got in a fight and one had boxed the other's ears, and people initially saw it, says, look at that young man. He's beating the shit out of that old man. He's beating the shit out of that old man. And then they say, wait a minute. You know, they see my driver's license say he's 54 years old. So the headlines reads, two old men get in a fight at Chick-fil-A. And there's an old line in the movie Lonesome Dove where it's not Robert Duvall's character, but I can't think, what's the other guy's, the actor's name? Is Robert Duvall? Tommy Lee Jones, where he says, where the guy's being rude to the young man, he was being like super rude to him, and he takes his horse whip, and he whips the snot out of him, and he says, I can't tolerate rude behavior in a man. I can't tolerate rude behavior. And so that's kind of the old Southern way right there and everything. You're polite, you know, to, in that case, that guy paid the price with a whip, a horse whip. Now this old Vietnamese, I was thinking about, that's not the Southern way. And he said, I'm from South Vietnam. That's the way we are. We're all assholes. I'm so sorry, Lord. Please forgive me for the curse words. I've gotten to where I had to watch my language. But, you know, that's the way we all are there. We're all holes. Or I'm from South Korea. That's the way we all are. I know better than that for South Korea, because they did have the largest Christian church in the world. And I've heard that South Korean people are really, really happy overall. That they're a happy culture. And there's a lot of Christians there in South Korea. Hey, that's where the Samsung appliances and all that are made there. Got Lowe's. Warn you, a little warning about them. The appliances are great, but I'm getting a phone call. I got to go. But anyway, I hope that I left you with a laugh, and I gave you a little bit of content to work with here. I'm gonna send pictures of this car as well. I'm in a Toyota RAV4. I was supposed to get a Highlander when I originally booked a few days ago, but it's first come, first serve, and someone had already picked up both the Highlanders. But it's a Toyota RAV4, and it's better than what I remember. Hey, I gotta go so I could see who that is. But anyway, y'all take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And remember, I love you. This is Shanna's symbol. Remember the love symbol that I told you about? So I love you guys. Have a great Friday and a great weekend, okay? You take care now. See you, bye.